Hello everyone, and welcome to my Bold and Beautiful Today channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Hope humiliates Carter by giving him Ridge ammunition to kill him. Hope Logan did a number on Carter Walton on Bold and the Beautiful this week when Ridge Forrester made an unexpected visit to FC on the CBS soap opera. Ridge tugged at Carter's emotions in order to manipulate him. Not until Hope interrupts and inadvertently provides the dressmaker with enough ammo to win the war, nevertheless. Spoilers for Bold and the Beautiful, Ridge Forrester nearly wins with his mullet. Ridge Forrester's account of how these former best friends met in Bold and the Beautiful prepared him for a heart-to-heart confrontation. After suggesting that Carter work out at a gym for a little while, Ridge told Carter Walton how well he remembered his comeback. Hope Logan and Carter Walton on Bold and the Beautiful. All those years ago, Carter Walton responded by sarcastically saying that he was not going to follow advice from a man with a mullet. According to Ridge, the two hit it off right on that day. Carter was cautious as they began their trip down memory lane. The two embraced after crying, but Logan's tirade about Carter completely destroyed the atmosphere in the room. However, she spoke primarily about her needs and desires. Hope, who used to be an angelic peacemaker, was nothing like what she said. According to some viewers of Bold and the Beautiful, Hope Logan has turned into a despot. Ridge discovers that Carter Walton is Hope Logan's puppet in B&B spoilers. Hope Logan was brought into the office by Bold and the Beautiful like a destructive tornado. She verbally rips Carter Walton and Ridge Forrester apart after witnessing their embrace. However, she unintentionally humiliates Carter with her remarks, and Ridge takes advantage of this. With a twist on her words, Ridge Forrester threw them back at Carter, changing her course. Hope Logan came out as a self-centered individual who manipulates Carter Walton to run the business. Ridge informed his former best friend that Hope Logan is now in charge of the business. Thus, the mullet-wearing Forrester tried to deprive Carter Walton of his manhood. And Ridge Forrester had all the ammunition he needed to accomplish that, thanks to Hope's remarks. Spoilers for Bold and the Beautiful, Hope's remarks embarrass Carter. Hope Logan pretended to be in charge when she entered that office and witnessed Carter Walton and Ridge Forrester sharing an embrace. This week on Bold and the Beautiful, she took over and yelled at Ridge as though she were speaking for Carter. Ridge Forrester, spoilers for Bold and the Beautiful. Hope Logan made Carter look foolish in Ridge's eyes. As the new boss who obeys her directions, she unwittingly denigrates him. And by bringing this out to Carter, Ridge Forrester avoided him any shame. As Hope sachets about Forrester Creations as if she owns the place, Carter Walton can now see how this appears to people. He is a man who enjoys the sensation of being adored by his lady love. However, Hope Logan hasn't shown much admiration lately on Bold and Beautiful, unless it's in relation to power. Carter Walton probably now perceives what he initially believed to be Hope's adoration of him as something else after Ridge Forrester's visit. Manipulation was all that it was. However, someone quickly enters and shows him the respect he seemed to seek. His nostrils are not the only thing that notices. B&B spoilers, Daphne Rose vs. Hope. In Bold and the Beautiful, a plant named Daphne Rose, Muriel Hilaire, collaborates with the Forresters to retake the business. However, while she role-plays, something appears to occur. Daphne seems to have a real interest in her target. Carter is therefore ready for what will happen next, because his rose-colored glasses are beginning to fade when he looks at Hope and her plan. All the sights, sounds, and over-the-top fragrances of seduction are present when Daphne shows up. Additionally, Carter is probably going to bite the bait. Carter and Daphne might have a crazy romance on Bold and the Beautiful. But only until he learns the reason behind her initial appearance. The self-appointed boss will then discover that Daphne and everyone else have been playing him. Therefore, the individual who would be king might find this to be too much shame. It might lead him to distance himself from FC and those he believed formerly cared about him, such as Hope Logan. According to B&B spoilers, as the CBS serial opera progresses, Carter Walton eventually learns that being at the top can be incredibly lonely. Brooke rejected, Carter rethinks, Daphne and Zen's intel. This is the ultimate summary of Wednesday, February 19, 2025's episode of The Bold and the Beautiful. Brooke Logan experiences another rejection in today's episode. Carter Walton thinks twice about the coup. Additionally, Steffi Forrester Finnegan receives intelligence reports from Daphne Rose and Zen Forrester Dominguez. Carter Walton's skepticism. Carter and Hope Logan are still conversing at Forrester Creations. Carter has some reservations about the takeover. Have they not demonstrated their point? Ridge Forrester only felt deceived, he didn't dispute their efforts. According to the manipulator, Ridge is sowing seeds in Carter's mind. She claims that because they made the right decision, the business is now prospering. Hope adds that they can even hire new designers and advises against allowing the poisonous to return. But Hope will never again answer to Steffi or Ridge. According to Carter, they studied honesty in law school. The manager is aware that his intentions were sincere, but they came at a heavy cost. Hope is curious as to why Ridge's dignity is more important than hers. The clothes designer will not return to the previous state of affairs. According to Hope, Carter is treated like a child by the Forresters. Carter gives a hug, but the COO is unsure. Rose Daphne's intel. Daphne and Zen discuss Ridge's appearance at the office in the Forrester Creations storage room. To inform Steffi that Ridge is alone together, they give her a call. Despite hearing the phone call, Taylor Hayes is unconcerned. Ridge would still be with Brooke if he truly desired her. Steffi is impressed. According to Taylor, she is starting to see that Brooke is only a decent human being. Finnegan's turmoil, John. Steffi finds out at the Forrester estate that John Finnegan is working 2 shifts at the hospital. Steffi discusses the drawbacks of being married to a doctor with Taylor after receiving the text. The takeover is the next item of discussion. With Finn at her side, Steffi can handle anything. Finn considers Luna to be his daughter when he is in the hospital. Finn is committed to being honest with Steffi. Tomorrow. Brooke Logan was turned down. Brooke keeps assuring Ridge that she belongs with him, not Taylor, on today's episode of The Bold and the Beautiful. He is all that matters to the FC CEO. Ridge informs his former partner that Hope pushed Douglas and Thomas Forrester, played by Matthew Atkinson, away. Additionally, Ridge accuses Hope of making John McCook's character Eric Forrester a couch potato. Hope is criticized by Ridge for using Carter. According to Brooke, her daughter merely wants respect and adores Carter. Ridge questions whether Hope felt the same sort of love for Finn or Thomas. They keep arguing. Ridge claims that Hope became a star thanks to Forrester Creations. Brooke is now endorsing Hope's crazy plan. Ridge should refrain from including the children in it, according to Brooke. According to Brooke, she didn't turn to him, he did. So, Brooke, why are you pleading for him to return? It's too late. Brooke is humiliated already. Ridge abandons her once more. Hope swears she will never again answer to Steffi and Ridge. According to The Bold and the Beautiful recap for Wednesday, February 19, Hope Logan vowed never to answer to the Forresters again, while Steffi Forrester received a frightening phone call. Brooke Logan argued in the design office that Ridge Forrester live at home with her rather than with Taylor Hayes at the Forrester mansion. Ridge only wanted her to have control over her daughter, but Brooke wanted him back. Ridge blasted Thomas Forrester for relocating halfway over the globe to avoid Hope. Ridge was upset that Hope had persuaded Carter Walton and was now using her closest friend to achieve her goals. Brooke somewhat supported Hope after Ridge complained that she was seeking retribution because Steffi was often threatening her. But Brooke genuinely didn't want to bring up their kids anymore. Brooke had told Ridge that he was the right man for her, even if Ridge had turned to Taylor. In the end, Ridge left Brooke, thus the heated argument didn't end anything. Zen Forrester Dominguez and Daphne Rose called Steffi to provide updates on this situation after catching a sight of Ridge prior to his private meeting with Brooke. Although Taylor maintained her composure and wasn't nervous about what she told Ridge, Steffi wasn't happy with Ridge's secret meeting with Brooke. Since they hadn't truly connected since their anniversary, Steffi also discussed with Taylor how she and Finn had been having a lot of problems lately. Although Finn worked 2 shifts, Steffi was full of compliments about him as a committed physician who would never disappoint her. On Wednesday's B&B episode, Finn was in his office looking at a picture of himself and Steffi together. On his laptop, Finn also looked at a picture of Luna Nozawa with Lee Finnegan and Poppy Nozawa. Finn decided to tell her the truth about Luna tomorrow after remembering a discussion in which Steffi stressed that they couldn't allow anything to separate them ever again. Carter indicated that it would be time to patch things up in the main office of Forrester Creations, telling Hope that perhaps they had made their point. Carter already felt like a traitor for what he had done, but Hope advised him not to allow Ridge to make him feel bad. Nevertheless, Hope reminded Carter of the poison the Forresters produced and maintained that he had nothing to be embarrassed of. Hope would never again answer to Ridge and Steffi. Hope persuaded Carter to understand that the Forresters were mistaken about them after pointing out how painful it was to be called names and accused of manipulating. Carter looked uncomfortable as they hugged, even though Hope reaffirmed that Forrester Creations was now theirs. We'll give you more breakup predictions because, according to spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful, Hope and Carter's relationship could end badly if they can't agree. Within the Forrester family, Hope had long been renowned for her quiet power and nuanced influence, but in recent months, something in her personality had drastically changed. She had increased her level of manipulation to the point where even her most devoted allies were both amazed and alarmed. Hope had kept her cards close to her chest for years, influencing results with tactful charm and soft persuasion without ever coming across as too combative. However, Hope was forced to take a more straightforward, strategic stance as the pressure of family and business turmoil increased and the stakes at Forrester Creations rose steadily. Innocently enough, it started with a well-timed remark here, a provocative glance there, and small prods that swayed the discourse in her favor. However, the strategies quickly changed. In order to further her strategic goals, she began to develop complex plans that included forming alliances, using sensitive information, and even setting important people against one another. Power was the ultimate goal in the competitive realm of high society, and every move was carefully thought out and every phrase selected with the accuracy of a professional chess player. Hope's newly adopted strategies enabled her to gently influence talks, weaken dissenters, and affect results without ever blatantly showing her hand in decisions that could make the difference between success and catastrophe in boardrooms. In addition to gaining more control, her metamorphosis was a personal development and a bold declaration that she would no longer be satisfied with simply watching the Forresters' tumultuous history. Hope started to harness her newly discovered chutzpah since she was no longer content with playing the part of the silent observer or the encouraging confidant. She examined her competitors' strategies in great detail, paid close attention to the behaviors of individuals in positions of authority, and even researched the psychology of manipulation and persuasion. She honed her strategy with each new insight, fusing compassion with ruthless logic to produce a character that was both captivating and intimidating. Once characterized by soft smiles and subtle civility, her encounters took on a hint of strategic intent. In one particularly noteworthy incident, Hope interrupted a high-stakes meeting at a pivotal point to cast doubt on a senior executive's allegiance, phrasing her query in a way that caused other board members to become suspicious. Even though she seemed harmless, there was a sense of threat in her statements that made it difficult to tell if she was quietly planning a coup or providing helpful critique. The impact was instantaneous. Relationships that had previously appeared to be strong started to erode as a wave of doubt swept through the room. Her plots became more intricate as her reputation for slyness increased. Hope began planning scenarios in which her enemies might inadvertently work in her favor. She set up private meetings, used covert phone calls to tip the scales, and even preyed on the weaknesses of those in her immediate vicinity. Her manipulation was no longer restricted to face-to-face encounters. It permeated every engagement, transforming informal discussions into calculated conflicts in which every statement had a secret purpose. There were hazards associated with this novel strategy. Rumors of her strategies started to circulate throughout Forrester Creations' inner circles, making those who had previously appreciated her subtlety suspicious of her motivations. Even her closest confidants, who had always trusted her judgment, began to wonder if the persistent ambition that verged on ruthlessness was taking over the person they had known. Hope struggled with contradictory emotions in private, away from the prying eyes of rivals and co-workers. A part of her understood the price of such deceptive tactics, the breakdown of real connections, the need to constantly watch what she says, and the weight of constantly being one step ahead in a risky game. However, the excitement of command and the potential for immense power was too strong to resist. Her conviction that the goals outweighed the means was strengthened each time one of her plans came to fruition. The repercussions got more extensive as her strategies became more audacious. Her meddling started to affect the larger social fabric of the Forrester heritage as well as the internal dynamics of Forrester creations. A complex dance of alliances and betrayals left the entire dynasty on edge as rival factions began to modify their tactics in reaction to the changing tides. The once subtle art of manipulation had evolved into a full-fledged power battle in which every carefully chosen word and every whispered secret might tip the scales in unexpected ways. Hope was able to set two of her most outspoken adversaries against one another in one especially dramatic episode by carefully disguising vital facts so that even the most perceptive witnesses were left frantically seeking the truth. As a result of the aftermath from that decision, Hope's position as a power broker was eventually elevated through a series of high-stakes meetings and position reorganizations. With each new triumph, however, there was a little moment of reflection, a brief taste of the isolation that comes with such a lonesome quest for power. Hope occasionally questioned whether the constant manipulation was gradually separating her from the real relationships she once valued behind the facade of calculating ambition. However, such sentiments were swiftly buried beneath layers of strategic planning and brutal decision-making in the high-stakes world of Forrester creations, where influence and power are the currency of success. Hope's metamorphosis became a crucial plot point as the seasons changed and the turmoil at Forrester escalated. It was a tribute to the erratic nature of ambition and the thin line separating betrayal from survival. As she maneuvered through perilous seas, outwitting both allies and adversaries with a combination of charm and calculated ruthlessness that was both captivating and horrifying, viewers watched in wonder. Her development served as a sobering reminder that, in a society where power is everything, the capacity to control the narrative is a weapon rather than merely a tool. And even if it threatened to devour her from the inside out, Hope saw using that weapon as embracing every aspect of her new identity. Ultimately, Hope's transformation into a master manipulator was both inevitable and spectacular, highlighting the harsh truth of a world where trust is limited, loyalty is ephemeral, and every action is a risky gamble. It served as a lesson in ambition, tenacity, and the frequently agonizing cost of gaining power in a society that rewards the strong and punishes the weak, a society in which manipulation is accomplished not with fists but rather with whispered secrets, calculated risks, and an unwavering will to succeed at all costs. Bold and the beautiful veteran Thorsten Kaye recently delivered a statement that has sent shockwaves through the soap opera community, declaring that Ridge had it coming when Brooke finally told him off in a confrontation that was as cathartic as it was explosive, and in that moment, the turbulent legacy of the Forrester dynasty seemed to come crashing down in a torrent of raw emotion, betrayal, and long-held grudges. Imagine the scene, the opulent backdrop of Forrester creations serving as the stage for a showdown that had been brewing for years, where every whispered secret, every covert manipulation, and every wounded pride had culminated in Brooke's scathing rebuke of Ridge, a man who, despite his magnetic charm and storied past, had repeatedly proven himself unreliable, leaving a trail of broken promises and shattered dreams in his wake. And as Brooke's fury reached its zenith, her words cut through the tension like a blade, leaving Ridge momentarily speechless, a look of stunned disbelief etched onto his face, and it was at that very moment that Thorsten Kaye, whose decades of experience on Bold and the Beautiful have lent him an almost prophetic insight into the dark underbelly of the Forrester family, remarked candidly that Ridge had it coming. A declaration that encapsulated not only the inevitability of karma but also the long-awaited retribution for a man who had taken advantage of the unwavering loyalty and love that both Brooke and the rest of the family had once bestowed upon him. In the aftermath of the confrontation, as whispers turned into fervent discussions among fans and industry insiders alike, Kaye's comment resonated as a rallying cry for those who had long watched Ridge's self-serving antics and his repeated failures to honor the deep bonds that were meant to hold the Forrester empire together, and his words struck a chord, reminding everyone that in the high-stakes world of corporate intrigue and personal vendettas, no one is above accountability, especially not someone who has repeatedly manipulated relationships for his own gain. The drama of that fateful day was palpable, as Brooke, tired of being the perennial victim of Ridge's charm and empty promises, finally mustered the strength to call him out on his misdeeds in front of an audience of shocked onlookers, leaving behind an indelible mark on the Forrester legacy that would be remembered as one of the most explosive moments in the series' long and storied history. And while Ridge attempted to salvage his dignity with a feeble smile and a few desperate words, it was clear to everyone present that the damage had been done, and Kay's forthright comment was not merely a passing remark but a pointed commentary on the nature of justice in a world where the powerful often escape retribution. And now, as fans and critics dissect every nuance of that confrontation, debates rage over whether Brooke's fierce stand represents a turning point in the Forrester family saga, a moment when long-suppressed frustrations finally erupted into an act of righteous defiance, and if so, what it means for Ridge's future, his place within the family, and the broader narrative of Bold and the Beautiful, a narrative that thrives on the interplay of love, betrayal, ambition, and the inevitable reckoning that comes when the scales of justice finally tip in favor of those who have been wronged. Indeed, as the fallout from that dramatic encounter continues to reverberate through boardrooms, private mansions, and the social media feeds of ardent fans, Torsten Kay's candid observation that Ridge had it coming has become emblematic of a broader sentiment among viewers, who have long felt that the balance of power within the Forrester empire was overdue for a recalibration, and who now see Brooke's explosive confrontation as not just a personal victory but a necessary purge, a cleansing of the corrupt dynamics that have allowed Ridge's reckless behavior to persist unchecked for far too long. In the grand tapestry of Bold and the Beautiful, where every character's misstep is magnified and every moment of vulnerability is immortalized, this incident serves as a stark reminder that the pursuit of power, when divorced from accountability and genuine respect, inevitably leads to a downfall. And as Kay's words echo in the hearts of those who crave authenticity and justice in their beloved soap opera, the future of the Forrester legacy hangs in a delicate balance, poised between the hope for renewal and the fear of further betrayal, a narrative arc that promises to reshape alliances, redefine relationships, and ultimately, force every character in its wake to confront the consequences of their actions, a dramatic and unyielding exploration of the human spirit that, at its core, asks the timeless question: can love and loyalty survive in a world where every promise is tainted by the specter of past transgressions, or is the cycle of betrayal destined to repeat itself until the very foundations of the empire crumble under the weight of its own ambition?